Hello, Lindsay. How are you?
Hey, Aubrey, I'm doing fantastic. How's everything in your world today?
Amazing. I'm curious. I know you've been getting a ton of snow in
Yeah.
Colorado. When is
Yeah.
the last time you went sledding?
It's been a really long time, Aubrey. I don't even remember the last time I went sledding, unfortunately. I
You opted for
know.
skiing instead, probably, right?
Yeah, when I went skiing last winter with my brother and my niece, they went sledding at Copper Mountain, but I don't know, I was still skiing or something or just
Gotcha.
not out doing something else. So I missed it. I missed the
So I have a
opportunity.
question here. I'm intentionally
Mhm.
asking you about sledding because this came up in our Q&A,
Yeah.
where a student said, I sledded last weekend. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we would say I went sledding. We would use the past progressive there. Would it sound
Right.
strange to you if I asked, when's the last time you sledded?
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, it sounds a little strange. We just don't say it that way sometimes, right?
Yeah. And so I started diving into this because we have gotten quite a few listener questions about, past simple or present
Yes.
simple versus progressive. How do I know when to use which? Because this is very tricky in English. Sometimes it
Yes.
seems like there's no rhyme or reason. One
Yeah.
person will use one and somebody else switches it up and we don't understand why. So I'm excited to get into this today.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited. This is a great skill for the upper intermediate, B2 level to move into C1 to really understand this. Guys, go ahead and hit the follow button right here on All Ears English to make sure you catch 5 episodes a week of All Ears English. All right.
Absolutely.
Aubrey.
Yes. And grammar, vocabulary, we get into it
Yes.
all.
Oh, yeah. There's no question we won't answer if it's a good question, right?
Right,
So send
exactly.
us your questions to support@allearsenglish.com and our team will make sure your question gets routed in the right direction. All right.
Yeah, so let's do a quick overview of the grammar we're talking about today. First, past simple tense. When do we use
Yeah.
past simple tense,
All
Lindsay?
right. So we use the past simple when we are describing a completed action that happened at a very specific point in the past. So we know when it happened, right?
Exactly, right? This is created with a subject and then a verb conjugated in past simple tense. So, for
Mhm.
example, I thought I saw your dog in the park. I thought.
Yes.
Past simple.
Mhm. Right, exactly. But then we talk about past progressive tense, which is used for actions that happen over a period of time in the past. So,
Exactly. And this is constructed with the past tense of be, so
yeah.
was or were, and the
Mhm.
present participle of a main verb, which is verb ing. So, for
Mhm.
example, I was thinking about you yesterday. So, same verb.
Right.
I thought I
Yeah.
saw your dog. That happened at a specific point in time. I was thinking about you. This happened over a period of time.
Over a period of time, right? It's not a specific point, it's over a period of time. Yesterday could have been any time yesterday, right, Aubrey?
Right, exactly. So, in general, this is going to help you know which to use. But when it comes to activities that we do that take
Mhm.
a certain amount of time, this is where I think this gets the trickiest and people will get
Yeah.
tripped up because we'll use both verbs in the past and they're a little more interchangeable. Like, for
Mhm.
example, why do we say, I went running, but I ran a marathon? A marathon takes a
Yes.
long time. Why am I not
Yes.
using past progressive?
Oh, it's a good question, Aubrey. Tricky, tricky. Well, we know
Exactly.
exactly when we ran that marathon, right?
And if we haven't said, we're not saying I ran a marathon last year on November 22nd. We're not stating
Right.
it, right? It's an action completed in the past, but so is I went running, right? They
Yes,
both
that's
take
true.
time. So I could imagine you taking those two with the rules you're given. How do we know
Mhm.
which to use? So our
Well, how
pro
do we
tip
know?
today
Yeah.
is we use past progressive for doing an activity in general, like I went
Mhm.
running. And then we
Okay.
use past simple if we're naming what we did or describing it. So, for example, I ran a marathon, right? I would never
Mhm.
say, just I ran in general. I'd say I went running. But
Yeah,
when I
you wouldn't
say
say
I
that.
ran a mile, I ran a marathon, then we convert
Mhm.
to the past simple.
Right, or I ran up X mountain, some kind of mountain, right? So, yeah,
Exactly.
you're right, we don't just say, "Yeah, I ran yesterday." I mean, I suppose you could, but it's not very common, right? And we're all about what native speakers usually say.
Exactly, right? And so part of it might be that when you give more information about it, you're saying you ran a mile, you ran a marathon, you're sort of
Mhm.
making it more a specific point in the past that it was
Yes.
completed because you ran that mile, you ran that marathon. It is a little more specific, but it
Got it.
is kind of tricky. So, but that will help if you look at the sentence, look at what
Yes.
you're trying to say. If you're naming the actual activity, the actual thing you ran or swam, then you'll know.
Mhm.
So let's give a bunch of
I love that.
examples.
Okay. I like the skiing snowboarding example. So very similar to sledding, right? So if the activity is I went skiing, if you're naming exactly what you skied, like what kind of trail, what kind of mountain, for example, I skied a Black Diamond run, and you could, then we put that into the simple past, right, Aubrey?
Exactly. If someone just says, "What did you do yesterday?" "Oh, I went skiing."
Yeah.
But if you're giving specifics, "I skied 2 black diamonds, I
Hmm.
skied at Snowbird," you're giving
Hmm.
specifics about the activity, then you use past simple.
Yes, I love that. That makes total sense. What about hiking? We're so active in our examples today.
I know, because it's all the activities. This is
Yes.
where it gets tricky, right? If the activity
Yeah.
is you just say, "I went hiking," but then if you're
Hmm.
naming the hike, "I hiked Mount Everest," right? It's more
Right. Or
a
here,
completed goal, a completed action.
yeah, here in Colorado, we like to talk about hiking 14ers, like mountains that sit at 14,000 feet above sea level. And people like to bag the 14ers, meaning they like to keep a list of how many they've hiked and all this stuff. So I hiked a 14er last weekend, for
Yes,
example.
and that's
Right.
where I've had students ask me, "Why is someone switching in the same sentence from
Hmm.
past progressive to past simple?" This is often why it happens. Someone might say, "I went hiking yesterday and I hiked
Hmm.
a 14er." You have past progressive,
Yes.
then past simple when they get more specific.
Yeah, I think that's something really important to understand about the way natives speak. They don't just start a conversation and say, I'm going to use this tense the whole time. We weave in and out of different tenses, Aubrey.
Exactly. Yes, it changes a lot as what we're
Hmm.
saying changes, right? So a couple
Yes.
more here. Swimming, I went swimming, but I
Hmm.
swam a mile. And jogging, I went
Yes.
jogging, I jogged a mile, same as running.
Perfect. What about surfing? I went surfing, but I surfed in a competition last year.
Yeah,
Hmm.
or maybe I surfed a giant wave in
Yeah.
Maui, right? The more
Yes.
specific we get, we're going to use past simple.
Yeah. 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 And you would never say I went surfing in a competition last year, right? You would,
No,
that doesn't make any sense. And so
exactly, because it has become a specific point in time when we're giving details.
yeah, what about grocery shopping? We're moving out of sports into errands.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this quite a bit. Like, when do we have the past progressive and present simple for the same activity? And
Mhm.
it's anything like this that the more
Mm.
specifics we give. So, for example, I went grocery shopping yesterday, but then with specifics, I shopped at Winco yesterday. And we wouldn't say I
Yep,
grocery shopped at Winco. We just are going to leave out unnecessary words. We should be like, yeah, I shopped at Winco.
that makes total sense. So once we start to get into real details, where did you go? What kind of place did you go to? We use the simple past, right, Aubrey?
Exactly.
Okay. So anything else we need to know here for this
Yes.
grammar?
And I have received questions from students about this before. So we want to clarify for some activities that you would
Okay.
expect to be past progressive, like, for example,
Right.
eating breakfast, right?
Mhm.
We always use past simple.
Yeah.
So this is a little tricky. I wouldn't say I was eating breakfast just by
Right.
itself. We would always say I ate breakfast, right? Same with
No.
like I went out, I went to a restaurant. We don't say I was going to a restaurant by
Right.
itself. It's kind of
By
interesting.
itself. Only if something else interrupted that action, right? I was eating breakfast and my friend walked by the window of the diner, right? In that
Exactly.
case, but that's a different scenario for another day, right?
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
going to have a part 2 here because for most activities,
Mhm.
it's just past simple like this, right? I ate breakfast, and the only time we use past progressive is when we describe an action that was interrupted. Some of the
Yes.
few exceptions are these kind of activities, hiking, jogging, running, it's because if we don't have specifics about it and we're talking about an activity in general, we use the past
Mhm.
progressive.
Ooh, I love when we get into grammar. This is good stuff to challenge our listeners and let our listeners kind of clean up their grammar a little bit. So good. So we should definitely have our listeners hit follow on the podcast. Will that one be here on All Ears English, Aubrey?
Yes. Yep. Right
Okay.
here on All Ears English, we'll do a part 2, past progressive for interrupted or simultaneous actions. We'll give lots of examples so that you guys know how to
Excellent.
use past progressive tense.
Excellent. So, guys, that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, hit that follow button right now so you don't miss part 2 to complete this series. Shall we dive into a role play?
Yes, you are telling me about a recent ski trip in this role play. We'll see if it's at all accurate for your
Yeah.
recent ski trip.
Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, it was so fun. We went skiing every day of the trip.
I'm so jealous. Did you do any black diamonds?
Yes, I skied a couple black diamonds. I crashed once pretty hard.
Ooh, that is why I don't ski. Were you hurt badly?
Oh, no, it was pretty minor, luckily.
What about the food? Did the resort have a good restaurant?
Yes, there were a few different eateries, so we were always trying new spots.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
So I'm excited to go through this because you
Yes.
can see a little more why we opted for one of the other. So we started, you said we went skiing every day because you're not giving specifics. It's sort of the activity in general. You're going to use past
Hmm.
progressive.
We went skiing every day of the trip. Nice. And then you said, I'm so jealous. Did you do any black diamonds? Right.
Yeah. And this is past simple because you're
Hmm.
asking about a specific moment in time. Actually, skiing that black diamond would be past
Right.
simple.
You're getting more specific. And I said, yes, I skied a couple of black diamonds. So we would never say, yes, I went skiing a couple of black diamonds. It sounds very weird to me. Very
Yes,
weird.
exactly. That is incorrect because when
Yes.
we're making it, you're talking about a specific moment in time in the past when you skied that black diamond, has to be past simple.
Love it. And then I said, I crashed once pretty hard.
And
Ooh.
same thing, you would never say, I was crashing once hard.
No.
No, right? Past simple because it's at a specific moment in time.
Specific thing that happened, and we know where to. We know on what kind of trail and all those
Right.
details. Yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. And then I say, that's why I don't ski. Were you hurt badly? And so I'm again using past simple because if you were hurt, that would have happened at a specific moment in time.
Right, exactly. And then you said, "Oh, what about the food?" Always an important question, right? What
Yes,
about the
right. Let's
food?
pivot away from you being hurt.
I know. Did the resort have a good restaurant? Right. So now we're using simple past because we know where we are. It's very specific.
Exactly, right? And then you said, "Oh, we were always trying new spots." And this is one of those places where you have an option because you can use past progressive. We were always trying new spots. And you could say,
Hmm.
"We tried a lot of new spots," because the
Right.
context is either at these specific points in time we tried new spots, or more in general on the trip, we were trying new spots.
Yes, nice. We need to change the wording just a little bit there if we change the grammar, but we do have options
Yeah.
grammatically speaking. Yeah. And this reminds me of last Friday we went skiing, and do you ever do this where you realize you've had a lot of choices and you've made the wrong choice? Because
Absolutely. Far too often. What
yeah, this
happened?
happened to us last Friday. We went skiing. We said, okay, it was going to be a great day. It's sunny. It's beautiful. We're getting out there. We chose the one mountain that was literally it's called a basin. It's a basin and it's enveloped in clouds. So it's
Oh,
hidden from the good weather. So once we
that's
left a so
funny.
we had a little vertigo because there was a moment when you're skiing when the sky looks just like the ground and you become really
Oh,
disoriented,
wow.
right? It was
Interesting.
cold, it was bare, it was awful. We went home at like 11. We're like, forget this. We're not doing this anymore. Then we start driving back to the condo and we see, oh my gosh, Keystone looks beautiful. Vale looks beautiful. It's a sunny day. We didn't even know. So we
Right?
made the
All of
wrong
these other
choice.
resorts have these sunny, beautiful hills you could be
Yes.
on. What a bummer.
Yes. What a bummer. You got to make the right choices in life, Aubrey.
So true. Oh, I love that. Well, that is a good takeaway. Make the right choices in
Make the
life,
right
guys, not
choice.
just with grammar, but also with your ski trips.
Exactly. Is that what else do we want to add to the takeaway? Anything else? I mean, it is about making the right grammar choices. I think that's a great link here, Aubrey. I love it.
And I think this is such a great connection skill, chatting about
Yeah.
what you've done recently. And you may find yourself avoiding doing that if you're worried about choosing past simple or past progressive. So today's
Mhm.
tips should really clarify because you want to have those conversations with people.
Yes, so good. And again, it's great that we went into grammar today, guys. We try to bring up grammar as much as we can. So if you have a good grammar question that has been bothering you for a while, make sure to send it in to us and we will do our best to answer that question. All right?
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. This was
All
fun.
right, Aubrey. You have a good day. Talk to you
You
soon.
too. Bye.
Bye.